All right, here we go. And in 3, 2, 1.
Yippee-Ki-Yay, mother.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to Yippee-Ki-Yay Mother Podcast Classic. Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Hey, fantastic.
Good.
Holiday spirit.
Yeah, we're going to continue our holiday spirit films. So we'll do that first. Drew brought a doozy, which I'll let him talk about. And then we'll do a round of What'd You Watch, a little further down the road in case anybody wants to skip through this and go to What'd You Watch, or please stick through it. I mean, I don't know how long people are staying on.
It's about 8 minutes.
8 minutes. Okay, well, get the 8 minutes in right now.
We should all say something in that 8 minutes. Something, just anything.
All right, so Drew, what wonderful holiday film did you bring to the table?
Well, as I said last time, it was hard to decide which holiday movie I wanted to bring. We've done a number of excellent films in prior episodes. I thought of another one I could have brought. Maybe I'll do it next year. The Long Kiss Goodnight, another
good film.
Festive Rennie Harlan holiday film. But I picked a movie that John has already bailed on.
Yeah, I don't know what's
called
going on.
Eyes Wide Shut, which is Stanley Kubrick's last film. It is maybe not the traditional Hollywood movie that you would think of.
Oh, I thought you were going to say not your traditional Christmas movie that you would think of.
Well,
I thought it was more of a Hanukkah film.
It does have a kind of religious zealotry to its appearance, to its discussion of sex, and the Maccabees were super religious zealots. So I see how you could get there. Although this movie could have benefited from more oil in the orgy scene, I guess.
Yeah.
But the movie it's a lot of things. It's also not a lot of things because it's a movie that came out in 1999 and it came freighted with all this baggage. It's Stanley Kubrick's last movie. And was it really his last movie because he died after he locked the picture, but before he did the sound? And is it really his last movie because he was working on AI with Steven Spielberg and all this other stuff? And what it is it's an adaptation of a short Austrian novel about a couple wrestling with sex in their marriage. And he took it and blew it up into a giant movie with 2 giant Hollywood stars. And for some specific reasons, I think, he set it in New York at Christmas. And this entire movie, this whole story, this odyssey of this couple and Tom Cruise's odyssey into these dark corners of New York City, if it wasn't at Christmas, the whole movie would look different. Kubrick likes to light things with natural light. So he had Larry Smith, his director of photography, lighting this whole movie with Christmas lights. So when you see that giant wall at Sidney Pollack's party at the beginning, that staircase with that curtain of lights filling the room, I mean, that isn't the kind of thing you would just see on some Sunday in April type of thing. So I was really I hadn't seen it in a long time. I saw it with my dad in the theater, as I mentioned. It's a good family film.
Oh my God.
And now that I've seen it, again, I'm now exactly twice the age I was when I first saw it. And I've been married for 18 years. So I bring a very different perspective to what the movie is about and what it says about marriage and all these other things. And it's the kind of movie, people have been writing and talking about it for many years. And what Chris mentioned last time, I think you said you were excited because you're a big fan of the movie. And I think it is getting what you say it's getting, which is a genuine reappraisal, just as a movie itself. And it's always fun to see, when movies come out of the past and they get a fresh look at it. Like, I'm sure Clute is coming at any moment, followed by The Ninth Configuration, and I'm looking forward to both of those.
Well, what about One from the Heart?
That's never going to happen. But we already reconsidered it, and I think we said the last word on it. But it's so many different things to talk about with the movie. I believe I have some specific thoughts as to why I think it's a Christmas movie, but I don't know if you guys have ever seen it before, or maybe you haven't seen it in 20 years. So I wanted to get your thoughts on it as a movie. And as I presume a less than, not deliberately so on my part, I've always thought of it as a Christmas movie, but I never really thought about it. So I said, I'm going to bring this to the show. What did you guys think of it as a holiday
before we do that,
choice?
I'd rather talk about why you thought it might be a Christmas film.
I'd like to hear that too.
Or appropriate to bring up as a film, because the thrust of this stuff, and I'm not,
what do you mean by thrust?
Okay, you guys, I do want to talk about the film. Definitely. I enjoyed the film. But I do also want to bring up, how does this fit this profile of a Christmas film? And is it because every shot has a Christmas light in it? Is it?
Well,
does Christmas have anything to do? I guess for the reason for the film is Christmas an important element? You said without that it's a different film.
So it absolutely is. It is visually, as I said, it is visually for sure.
Right.
The novel is set in Vienna during Mardi Gras, and it's about a Jewish couple. And Kubrick said, I want to make like really sort of vanilla American couple played by movie stars. So you've got arguably at the time, the biggest movie star couple in the world in this movie. It's also
Tom Cruise has done Vanilla Sky, so that fit right into that too. I wouldn't call these two vanilla. Would you call them vanilla?
No, but that's what he was saying. Like, I don't want to find some unknown. I want like the biggest, most mainstream, movie star couple, like a real couple he wanted, which was, I don't know that helped the film because I don't know that they have a lot of chemistry on screen like that.
And they're actually married, which is interesting.
Right. They were actually married. Yeah. The reason I think this is a Christmas movie is because, Kubrick is one of these people that everything that he does is very deliberate. Mm-hmm. To the point where there's a whole world of people who have written stories and books and made documentaries about what's really going on in his movies. I admit, when I had the choice, I would move to a new desk at my office, and I could choose a cube, 245 or 237. And I chose 237 because that's the room you're not supposed to go to at the Overlook in The Shining. And room 237 is a documentary about all the stuff that people see in that movie, The Shining, about the moon landing and what it really means and all this other nonsense.
And one of the stores he walks by is 237.
Right. I mean, I think you can hunt through the movie to find things that are genuine Easter eggs, and you can hunt through the movie to find things and draw connections and conspiracies and whatever. I think that the movie is, as a Christmas movie, I mean, he consciously set it at Christmas. He set it in New York City, which is like one of the world's great sort of imagined Christmas, in the greatest Christmas experience ever. You're going to end up in one of the great cities of the world, like New York or Paris. It's not in, Boston or someplace that nobody knows anything about. And I think it's also interesting because he made the whole movie in Pinewood Studios in London. He's afraid to fly. He didn't go to America to shoot this. So it's not only
a stylized version of New York.
Right. It's Kubrick's version of New York Christmas. It's all on stages. It's or rear projection, like literally Tom Cruise on a treadmill with a rear projection of the Sidewalk movie behind him. But to me, it's not just the location of it. The structure of the movie, the way that the movie is telling a story, is the same kind of story that It's a Wonderful Life and Christmas Carol and other movies are saying, which is, this is the way the world is. This is the way the world could be without you. This is the way the world could be if you made different choices. Because the whole movie is Tom Cruise is driven out into the night by concerns about his wife fantasizing about another guy. She never slept with him. She never touched him, but he can imagine them having sex because she said, yeah, I would have done that. So he's driven out into the night, and in the night, he has this whole like after hours kind of odyssey where he meets, an old friend and ends up, I got to buy a costume from a guy who, his 14-year-old daughter wants to have sex with me, and a hooker picks me up and I don't have sex with her, and I end up at an orgy and my life is in danger and all this kind of stuff. And then the next day he retraces his steps. And he goes back and he finds out like he may have gotten people killed. He may have himself have been killed. He may have gotten HIV. Like all these different things in his life would have been different if he had made different choices. Because what he definitely did was get way in over his head. And instead of it being the end of It's a Wonderful Life, where Jimmy Stewart realizes like, oh my God, my life is really wonderful and people love me and people would miss me. Tom Cruise's character, Dr. Harford, everything comes down to, I love my wife and we got to figure this out. So he has something that he comes home to that it anchors it to. And Christmas is a holiday of birth and renewal and all these different things, whether it's the birth of the baby Jesus, whether it's the renewal of the new year, all these things. Like the movie very, I think naturally, without any kind of, you have to find out this Easter egg and this person played that and blah, blah, blah kind of stuff, which can be fun. I think the movie really fits that structure that a lot of holidays have. I mean, it's not the same tone as Bill Murray's Scrooged or something, but it is about what's the real world like? What would the world be like if I made different choices? And that fits right into Christmas movie conditions and traditions. And I think, frankly, that's got to be some level of conscious on Kubrick's part. Otherwise, why did he move it from Vienna? Why did he move it to Christmas? Why did he tell the story the way that he told the story?
Well, every choice he makes, he's making for his own, detailed reasons. But I still,
everybody does. He's more thoughtful.
When I think of Eyes Wide Shut, I absolutely understand why Christmas is such a big part of the film. But I never ever think of this as a Christmas film. It takes place at Christmas. Right. That's how I think of it. And so it's an interesting pick, which I enjoy because I like talking about the film. And like I said, I enjoyed the film. But I just want to hear other people's thoughts on.
I think that when I first saw this film, when did it come out? 1999.
Yep.
So I just remember thinking, this is an awful film. It's so full of debauchery and stuff in my upbringing. I would try to avoid things like that.
She's from Ohio.
Nothing ever goes on in Ohio like that.
Well, believe it.
I don't know how they get Ohioans.
And the purity. I don't know. I remember being shocked by this film, but however, seeing it now, I love this film. It is a Christian film. I mean, a Christmas film, and also, to me, I'm a lot more mature now and understand things. The gift, one of the gifts that we have received from God is sexual pleasure. That is like a wonderful gift. And in that respect, that's probably the number one gift that he gave human beings.
That's right. And when I think of Christmas, that's what I think of is sexual pleasure. John's going to have a heart attack over there. My God. Okay.
Well,
so what's Sean getting for Christmas? What's Sean getting for Christmas this year?
Well,
she's not wearing any pants.
Merry Christmas, Sean.
He said, what are you going to wear? I said, I'm going to wear your sweater. This is Sean's sweater, of course. I snatched it from him, but I said, I'm going to make
easy.
And anyway, about the movie, I really love Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise in this. I think they played great roles, and they were both inclined on the same night to step out on their marriage. And oddly enough, when that breach is made, that bond when you're married, and that occurs when you step out on somebody, that's a demise. Most marriages can't survive that. It's not gonna.
Oh, their marriage wasn't gonna make it, even though they had that little talk at the store at the end. There's no way that they're gonna make it. No way.
But
well, I think Debbie's onto something, just because I think Nicole Kidman's character clearly thinks that sex is okay, and Tom Cruise's character spends the entire movie trying not to have sex with people who are clearly available to have sex with him. He doesn't really want to have sex with the women who tempt him at the party. He doesn't want to have sex with the prostitute. He doesn't want to have sex. I don't blame him for this one. He doesn't want to have sex with Lily Sobieski. He wants to be, he's a voyeur like all these people at the orgy. He wants to see things, but you don't really get the impression that like he's having a good time at all.
He's in pain.
And so at the end of the movie, when she has her plans for their future, which involve like, what we have to do soon is fuck, that's boiling out of her. I don't think it's
but she turned him down when he said forever. He used the word forever twice.
Yeah.
And she says, I don't want to talk about forever. Let's talk about now. Let's go home and because it's Christmas Eve and that's what we should do. And their daughter disappeared for 10 minutes while they're talking. And the theory is there's two old guys that are in there that probably snatched her away, and that's the next movie.
Well, the part of the film that really was wonderful, I thought, when they went to the party initially, and the whole scene is with her and this handsome stranger, and she's
Sky Dumont.
Sky Dumont.
Oh my gosh!
The actor. That name.
They were flirting so terribly with each other, bordering on. Just really borderline cheating on your spouse. Coming so close, which opened the door, I thought, to his demise. His free fall into some kind of world, where his
Well,
marriage.
his world was shattered when she told the story about the Navy guy that she
Right.
wanted to get ravaged by.
Women have sexual fantasies.
So that was the whole thing. Here's something that I didn't do, but I wanted to. I
would have
And
if he had actually-
reacts to it like
Right.
that's the same as her doing
And then
it.
he goes
I mean,
out and he now wants to have revenge, basically, and still,
but he
you know,
doesn't.
but
he
they're
doesn't-
bouncing around like that scene with the daughter of the guy who died, who throws
Right.
herself at him and says, "There's a lot of sexual." Anyway, John, you got to jump in. I want to hear your thought of this as a Christmas film. Come on.
Well,
What did you
First
like
of
the
all-
film? Let's talk about the film
first
first.
of all,
then we can talk about you.
I've never seen this movie.
What?
So when we talk about these holiday movies, whenever we do this, there's always a certain feeling I get, no matter what movie is picked. There's usually a certain feeling you get with a Christmas movie. That's why you pick a Christmas movie. So when I went into this, I was like, this Drew has to know, it's got to give you that feeling of Christmas, or he wouldn't just pick a movie just to kind of, So then the first scene was Nicole Kidman naked, which I said, okay, that's nice because I like Nicole Kidman. Then Nicole
That's the
Kidman was
first
on.
person of the year.
She was on the toiled peeing, so that was a little different. I wasn't
That's a
expecting
Kubrick
that.
thing, yeah.
So then I'm thinking about Christmas movies. Then as the movie went on, it objectified women throughout the entire movie, which I found interesting.
They called them girls when they were.
There was a
objectified.
14-year-old girl who basically got assaulted by two Asian men and was offered up by the father to Tom Cruise.
Oh, he is
and-
Tom Cruise.
And you got a crumbling marriage. And I love Tom Cruise. I don't think he was very good in this movie, acting wise. I thought he was okay. And I thought Nicole Kidman was all right. I don't think she was great either. Now, if we had watched this separately from a holiday movie, I probably would have looked at it differently than I'm looking at it now. Okay. So I had a little resentment of it because I wanted a holiday movie, a Christmas movie. I will say this. I think Kubrick is a genius, and every frame looks like a painting. And I know that's all Kubrick. So I appreciated that. I didn't like the movie. I thought it was stupid. I understood the subtext of it all. I wasn't into it. And again, I think part of the reason was because as a holiday movie, it's not like if someone said to me, recommend Christmas movies for me, that I want that Christmas feeling, This is not a movie that I would ever recommend to anybody who ever wants to watch a Christmas movie. And now it's set at Christmas time and the lighting is Christmassy, but as far as I'm concerned, it's not a Christmas movie. So I did not like it. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. So, and as far as a Christmas movie goes, it's not a Christmas movie. Sorry.
Oh.
That's how I felt about it. That
Chris,
was my visceral reaction.
Chris,
Chris loves this movie. I want to hear him defend it.
Yeah, like I said when Drew brought this up before, I saw this in '99, and I was obviously a much younger man, unmarried.
Did you watch it with my dad also?
I did not. You know what? It's funny. He and I couldn't get the times right, Drew. So we didn't. No. But and like I said, I walked out of this movie blown away. I thought it was a masterpiece then.
Originally, when you originally saw it?
Originally. Yeah, I mean, you don't understand. Like, I kind of joked about this before, but for literally 20 years, I have been defending this film, and I'm really happy that it's gotten a reappraisal. Now this is going to seem like a strange movie to compare it to, but I looked at this movie similar to Starship Troopers, which I also think is fantastic. Not as good as this movie, but Starship Troopers was a movie that came out and everybody dumped all over it. And I said, no, that's a great film. You're missing it completely. And now it is also being kind of, given a second chance. People are realizing that it's
so is Showgirls. So is,
oh, wait a minute. Whoa.
That's
Are
what
you
happens.
comparing-
That's what happens. RoboCop,
No,
same thing.
Showgirl has not been.
no,
Those are
don't
different
put Showgirls in
experiences,
this
yeah.
category.
Showgirls isn't in the same. I'm not saying the same level,
No,
but
but
it's
it
looked
hasn't
at
been
differently now
rediscovered.
than it was when it came out, for sure.
It's a really bad film.
But
Not
the
really.
thing about Eyes Wide Shut that got me then and got me now, and
Wait, can I ask a question? When did this come out?
1999.
yeah, but it
I'm
came out
sorry.
in like August.
What month?
It came out. In,
Oh,
It was in the
it
summer.
was
Summer.
it was a
July
summer release,
19th.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so did It's a Wonderful Life.
Die Hard came out in the summer too.
That didn't
John.
come out
I was
during
going to say,
Christmas.
this is a Christmas movie the way Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
You're right.
It takes place
That's
at Christmas.
fair. That's fair.
But the thing that I think about this movie is, and I thought about it then, and it still resonates with me today, is this movie captures the essential fragility of people's egos, specifically male egos, and the fragility of relationships. Obviously, they are at a party. They're both flirting with other people. They go back to their apartment, their wonderful apartment, their beautiful life in New York City, and they're obviously, they're having a little foreplay. They're smoking a little weed, and then he says something foolish, or she says something, kind of provocative about sleeping with those girls, and he just kind of laughs it off. And then he says something about men being the aggressors and things like that. And then she just goes into that laughing, and there's something about the laughing, and it's like in your mind, her character is laying it on thick to get to him, but you can feel it. And I thought he didn't actually really
was laying it on thick, not the character.
No, I think that the character was laying it on thick. She was exaggerating the laughing and everything purposely to make him feel small and foolish. And then what happens is she probably, she probably did see a naval officer that she was like, wow, that guy's really good looking. If I weren't in this particular situation in my life, I might do that.
I believe that story.
But she lays it on even thicker to say that she would have left him and her and the kid in a moment. And so,
he feels that in his head. What does that look like?
Is having
something
fun
that never
A lot
happened.
of background
the
noise.
dog is going a little crazy.
That's a Kubrick thing.
Doggy style, you could say.
And but anyway, the point is that it sends him down the spiral, and to kind of condense things a little bit. Obviously it's a beautiful film. I think he does a great job acting. I could feel his anxiety, his anxiousness, his desire for these other things to kind of get back at people, but yet not. And there's a really kind of odd scene in there where he runs into these 6 drunk frat guys, and they kind of push him around a little bit. Yeah. And they kind of, they're talking to him as if he's, some super flamboyant homosexual, and he's just a man who takes care of his. No, he just takes care of his appearance. And you forgot one. Alan Cummings was obviously.
I was going to bring that up.
Ready to sleep with him too. But the idea is that he keeps going down, and there's the orgy scene and all of that stuff. But I think what happens is it comes back to it, and then he wakes her up in the middle of the night, and she's having that dream where in the dream it seems like she's having a wonderful time, but in truth she's very upset by it. But he can't see that. Because he hears what he wants to hear and he sees what he wants to see. And
he's fantasizing about, he's reliving that scene over and over through the
she's having more sex in his dreams than he is.
Well, it's like there's that one of my other favorite films is in High Fidelity, where he says, no one on the planet is having better sex than his ex-girlfriend and Ian than the sex they're having in my head.
Right.
Right.
And that's kind of the thing that gets there. And so when it all comes back to the end, right, and she's like, we need to go, right, it's because there is a certain truth and intimacy in that physical connection, and that they kind of need to get back to that baser element,
To me, the line was, the line there was not her last word.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, we're talking about a lifetime here. Are we going to let one day be the thing that defines what this relationship is about?
Mm-hmm.
And that's supposedly the forgiveness that he should have for her. Because he even said, now you're saying dreams aren't really dreams. They could be real. But she wants him to forgive her for her dream, and she's going to forgive him. She doesn't care what he did. Right? She doesn't care. She just wants, let's forget about this one day, and then we'll move on for him. But I guarantee you in 2 weeks, they're going to be back to the same thing and it's over. But
I don't know.
In that moment, and he was asking for forever. And she's like, I don't want to talk about forever. Let's talk about right now. Let's go back to the apartment and that's it. We'll do that.
Right. But I think the point of her saying, let's not talk about forever, is she wants something that she can mentally wrap her head around. And forever does seem too big. So maybe it is, let's talk about the next 2 years,
I watched a great video about how women are treated in this film and how she's actually, it's his he's looking at her. She's a beautiful woman. She's a mother. She's it's an ideal. Women in this film are an ideal who are treated like crap. They're murdered. I mean, they murder that one woman, Mandy, because they just don't, they don't care. The women are pushed aside all over the place. The father's pimping his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say, John?
Did they
murder her?
Wow.
We don't know that they did.
In the morgue.
No.
He didn't own up to it.
She's dead.
She's dead. Oh, she died. So we assume that the cult killed her.
Maybe.
People die.
Okay. Well,
She
we can't let everything just float in the air like it's.
Well, no.
Sidney
Pollock says to him explicitly in the billiard room, "That's not what you saw. It was all like a setup." Which is, it's entirely possible it was staged. It's also entirely possible that he's telling him that it was staged so he'll leave it alone. But the point was made, which is these people are serious.
Right.
Like his friend, the pianist Nick Nightingale, which is a great name. Todd Field, great director and actor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he disappears.
Great pianist.
And he disappears, and that's the scene with Alan Cummings where he's describing him being taken away by these large men. I read that and I say, well, what's the point of killing him? Beat him up, put him on a plane back to his family. He'll look over his shoulder the rest of his life. He'll never ever be a problem again. But if Tom Cruise takes from it that they roughed him up and he vanished, Tom Cruise gets the message to leave it alone too, because he didn't get the message by not showing up, and then he didn't get the message by literally being handed a message through the gate that says stop asking questions, and then he went and kept asking questions. So I think part of the whole notion of dreams in the movie is what's real, what's not real. I don't think it's interesting to say like, well, when he woke up the next morning, everything that happened was a dream. It wasn't real. That just feels boring to me. But as to, what actually happened and then what you think happened and what you see, it kind of reminds me of a movie called Drishyam, where someone is controlling exactly what you see and why you see it. It's just for a different purpose. And I think it's very interesting. I think it's very interesting the way that sex is used as a lens and as a weapon by different people in this movie. But the one thing that's really interesting, and this is why it turned out to be fine for my dad and I to watch this, they sold this movie as an erotic thriller. There's nothing sexy about this movie at all. And I didn't know that the
scene with the Navy guy and Nicole Kidman was kind of hot.
Well, I mean, I thought the actual sexy scene in the movie is when he goes back to Domino's house the next day and he meets the roommate.
Oh yeah.
And they just sort of start like, oh, they're sort of touching each other and let's kiss a little bit. And then she's like, wait, I got to tell you, she's got the AIDS. Yeah. So that's kind of a boner killer. But that actual but the
Christmas tree was in the background,
right,
so that made it very Christmassy. Yeah,
but the two of them together felt like actual people feeling something. And the whole point of the cult thing is like, let's stand and stare at people having sex, which is like that's a sort of an image.
Well, the orgy scene was the big one. But
it's not sexy.
I know. I'm saying that.
They're like bowling pins.
When people went to see that movie, they were going to see that, and Nicole Kidman and Tom naked too.
What I didn't know though was that this was the uncut version on Netflix. Yeah,
this is
I didn't realize
HBO
that.
Max, it's not the theatrical version. They had to cover up some of those shots by having cloaked people standing in front of
CGI people.
Yeah, the digital people blocking the thrusting and the oral sex of.
You guys didn't see the deleted scene where the little girl said, "Every time Mommy says the F word, an angel gets its wings." You guys missed that. That to me brought it back to Christmas.
That's because Kubrick doesn't have deleted scenes. He puts everything.
Oh, that's right.
Movie.
I forgot. That was a different movie.
It is funny though that I remember reading an article about this movie right after Kubrick had passed away, and Cruise was saying all this stuff about how I'm going to make sure this movie gets to the theater precisely the way it was, and I remember this and specifically, and I don't know if they cleaned it up a little bit for the home release versions, but I read an article in Premiere Magazine about how there was supposedly a very relatively explicit sex scene for 2 minutes between Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise.
I heard that too.
And I remember watching it in the film, and then there seemed to be an edit right when they're looking at each other
in the mirror,
and then it just seems to kind of almost rip to another scene. And I remember thinking, was that where that 2-minute scene was supposed to be, that they just decided, you know what, this is going to get an NC-17, we can't digitally put another person in.
Do you guys know who he wanted to play the husband in the 1980s? because he had this.
Woody Allen?
No. Well,
No.
yes, he was going to have Woody Allen and Mia Farrow.
They were going to do a comedic version of this.
Harvey
Right, but
Keitel?
no. He
No, Harvey
interviewed.
Keitel played Cindy Pollock's part.
Oh, he was the
originally.
director.
I
Gotcha.
tell.
He
Really?
interviewed
I mean, the
Steve
Ziegler.
Martin.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin was on tour doing his comedy tour, and he
Was it going to be a comedy?
I don't know.
Well, originally, yes, it was gonna. He developed
with
it as
Woody Allen. It was
a comedy with Woody Allen,
Yeah.
and then stopped because it was less of a romantic bedroom marriage comedy story, and became a much more serious, surreal.
Well, as
thing.
he got
Christmas
older, I'm
holiday
sure.
classic.
This seems like Kubrick's wet dream too. I mean, it does feel like it's an old.
Well, let me tell you.
Putting.
Go ahead, Sean.
Okay, well, when I wrote a pretty long review of this film because at the time when this film came out, I was trying to get a job as a film reviewer for some little publication, and it was interesting to read my review then, which I ultimately posted on IMDb. But I gave it 8 out of 10, and I really liked it. I mean, I love Kubrick. I think of my lifetime. I mean, in the 60s, there was still Hitchcock and all working. But for the bulk of my lifetime as a moviegoer, I think he was the most important filmmaker out there. I mean, I love Kubrick. And I was kind of disappointed, but I ultimately liked the film. It is really, it's like two different films. But the part with Cruise on his Odyssey is very it goes for a whole range of emotions, but it's very creepy and suspenseful. And I think the music is very well picked.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to use that discordant piano theme all the time. When I would cut commercials, I would always say, well, they're like, let's try some music against it. I would always use that.
What were you
And if it was
selling? Funeral plots? What were you selling?
anything. It was just hilarious what it would do to whatever image you put it against. It could be some happy-go-lucky fast food thing, and suddenly you're scared, But I'll tell you, so I have seen it subsequently, but close to the time, so I didn't change that much. Watching it this time, I thought the thriller stuff really worked. But like you guys are talking, I'm 20 years, I wasn't married. I'm 20 years older, 23 years older, and I just wasn't buying it as much. But it's sort of like, even at the time, it's sort of like he discovers that women have sexual fantasies and consider, it's like, I discovered that the day I first went on.
Wait. It wasn't just a sexual fantasy that she was relating to him. She was, but then she said, if that guy actually came on to me, I would have left with him, and I would have even foregone my daughter and you. So it wasn't just a sex. She threatened him. She threatened him with, I would have left with him.
I don't think it's a threat. I think it's her saying that's how much desire I
Okay,
have.
it's not a
She
threat.
didn't.
So
She didn't do it.
she was
She didn't
truthful.
say she didn't say we're back at the hotel and I want you to know there was a sailor at the next table and I wanted him so bad. I mean I might go right now. This was something that she had already made the decision, and she was being honest with him to hurt his feelings, but she was being honest with him.
She was stoned.
a little bit. Well, it was funny because I believed her a little bit that she
Trying
was
to get under her
stoned,
skin.
but they had like 2 hits, so everybody settled down.
Well,
But I think the way that the movie, it's hard sometimes to look at the movie and say, does the movie think this about female desire, or does Dr. Harford think this about female desire?
I just thought he was an awfully naive character.
Oh my
which is
God,
one of the But here's the thing. Here's what I didn't like about the film now. I reread my review, and my opinion of Cruise is that he was over his head in this film, that this was not a good film for him. But I thought it played well because his character is over his head.
Right.
I don't think he was conveying that as an actor. I don't think he knew he could act it. You know what I mean? I just don't think as an actor, he had the depth. This is not his kind of movie. But I thought ultimately, maybe Kubrick picked the right guy. You know what I mean? I mean, Kubrick has often put uninvolving leads. I mean, look at Ryan O'Neal in Barry Lyndon.
Sure.
But I mean, Tom Cruise is a better actor than Ryan O'Neal. But to me, he did a good job. I thought Cruise, ultimately, his weakness was his strength in this movie. And I liked Nicole Kidman, too, because I thought she was very free sexually. She didn't mind being nude. She was definitely a counterweight to him. But watching it now, I liked almost the entire movie more than I liked it the first time, except the scenes that they were in together. Like, there's a rule in screenwriting, and this film bears it out. Don't let a scene, particularly a dialogue scene, go more than 3 pages. But I thought that scene, the pot smoking, insulting him scene, was terrible. I didn't buy it.
Oh, that's so odd because
about something else. She's married.
I know, but
he could have left the toilet seat.
It didn't have to be 8 minutes long.
But when you're having a fight with your spouse, when you're having a fight like that, and especially if you whether it's 2 hits or 5 hits, whatever, they're a little buzzed. You're having a fight. When you have fights with someone you've been married to a long time, you repeat things over and over and over and over. I
know, but
you attack the thing that you know is going to hurt them. And you keep bringing it up, and they go on forever, and you're just like, "What am I doing? I got to get out of here." And I think that was very true. I thought that was very truthful. I was like, "Okay, now."
Yeah,
I don't know. The
circus about having that couple play that couple, right?
That was the whole media.
That's right. And it was supposed to give us an insight of what their marriage was really like.
I hope not.
Because what's that other? They did the Irish film too. What was that one where they
Far and Away?
Far and Away.
Oh, another terrible movie.
Right.
I've never seen that.
You're looking at this film going, I wonder if this is a good representation of them as a couple. That's what everybody wanted to see. And ultimately, I think they came out as plastic people.
Yeah, I thought Nicole Kidman was great in that scene with the older guy. I generally thought they were all very good in the scenes that they weren't together. But I thought they were stiff and affected. And that could have been Kubrick.
Of course.
Because
he made them do 90 takes.
I bet they did.
He shot for 400 days.
Yeah.
46 weeks.
That would explain why Tom Cruise might have been looking a little like
he got an ulcer. He got an ulcer during this.
Tom Cruise
didn't tell Kubrick.
Shortly after this film, they divorced, right?
Well, she screwed some sailor right after.
What were you going to say, Chris? She thought about screwing some sailor.
Santa Claus. It was Santa Claus. She told him about, because it's a Christmas film, so she said, I wanted to bang Santa Claus.
He had all those reindeer.
I saw Mommy effing Santa.
Chris, what do you want to say, Chris?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, it's funny because, you talk about the time that it took. I remember also reading probably in the same article about how, that this took up so much of Cruise's time that he basically missed when he should have been because it took he put out a movie for 3 years because of this film, right? And that essentially they were he should have been off shooting Mission Impossible Part 2, long before he actually ended up shooting it. Because part of the thing of the way Kubrick works is he owned everything. He owned his cameras, he owned his sound equipment. So literally they said that there would be times where he would literally sit and talk with them for weeks about their character. He's like, hey, we don't have to shoot anything. It's my money. It's my cameras. We're going to do it my way.
He moved them to London. They lived there for 4 years.
They signed an open-ended contract. They signed on for that. So
he put them in marriage counseling as part of the preparation for the thing.
I mean, and it's one of those things. It kind of reminds me, and Steven Soderbergh started doing this later in his career, where he would take people who had a real world experience in something. In this case, Kubrick's taking a real married couple and putting them in this situation. Well, Soderbergh did that with a movie I really liked called Haywire, where he took
I loved Haywire.
Toronto. Who's a woman who could probably beat up all of us at the same time. Who, you put her on screen and she's really kicking ass, and you're like, well, that's probably because she really could do that. And then he also did that with the girlfriend experience.
The girlfriend
Sasha Grey,
right?
Who was
porn actress,
an adult film actress. Anyway, but
again, that's kind of a trick. It's a bit of a trick to do that. Yeah. Now Soderbergh gets them to act pretty well. They're natural. They're doing their thing, but it's a trick.
He also surrounds them with excellent actors.
And I think if you really look at this film, it was a trick to put them in the lead.
It was a trick,
and it was that was going to be the one selling point. And then when you find out it's an erotic thriller and there's a big orgy scene, that was the other thing.
No,
that was gonna
the
sell.
big take was Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise are going to have sex on camera.
Right.
That's how they sold it in the
Yeah,
beginning.
for Christmas.
And it
Right.
turned it for Christmas.
Christmas.
As our Christmas
All right.
gift to you.
Christmas in July.
Okay, we need to do a round of what you watch, which nobody's going to be watching
Well,
anyway. But
hey,
go
hold
ahead.
on one thing. There's
ahead.
one thing I want to say. I think you know, like any of us, there are movies that you have certain memories associated with when you watch them, how you watch them, that sort of stuff. Like I watched that awful sequel to the movie 300. It's a terrible movie, but it's got this really super hot scene with Ava Green, and
You
the
love
lead
her.
guy. I love her, but I watched it on an airplane. I was uncut on the seat in front of me, and the 12-year-old kid next to me was watching it as well. So that's like always a special memory. But Kelly has a special memory of this movie. I don't know if you recall, Sean, but you and she watched this movie together on the Acela back from New York, from one of your many shoots and projects, on your phone without headphones. And not in the
miracle.
quiet car. Yeah. So as I said, we're
Not
going
in
to
the
watch it. She
quiet
goes, "Oh, ask Sean if he remembers that." I'm
Christmas miracle.
sure he remembers that. Very special experience.
wow.
Very
All
special.
right.
Well, I got to tell you, you know, he was crazy about your wife, right?
Everyone is.
Everyone is. I get it.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right.
That's
This
like
is getting
one of-
weirder.
Yeah, it's
weirder.
getting weird.
All right,
You-
let's
I always tell her.
In
Sometimes
my
I just
defense-
wish Sean would dress up like a
You
sailor.
don't have a
It's just a
defense.
thing that happens.
In my defense, I usually only went to really bad movies with Kelly.
That's true. Like Pitch Black, one of the greatest
so
films of all time.
so you know, are you saying this is a bad movie? All right, let's rate it. Chris, what's your rating?
I get double Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Whoa.
Doesn't get
Whoa.
much better than this, in my opinion.
That's the first double in the film
Okay.
in our series.
Sean and Debbie.
I give it a double good film.
It's called Yippee-Ki-Yay or Yippee-Ki-Nay.
Okay,
Stay on
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
brand. Man.
I'm going to give it a boom boom bye.
Okay. I'm going to do mine because I know what Drew's going to do. And John, I say Yippee-Ki-Yay as a film, Yippee-Ki-Nay as a Christmas film. This to me is not a Christmas film. I love the film. I actually enjoyed the film quite a bit. I didn't see it when I was younger. I saw it about a month ago. And because I had been reading up on it, and I had, Scorsese and Roger Ebert, they did a review of it way back in the day, and they both loved it. I thought the film was great. John, what's your rating?
As a movie, I give it a Yippee-Ki-Nay. As a Christmas movie, I give it a double Yippee-Ki-Nay. Wow. Avoid this movie at all costs if you care about Christmas at all.
John, I'm concerned that your testicles are 2 sizes too small now.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Grinch.
All right, Drew, what's your rating? I think I know, but go ahead.
I would say I think Yippee-Ki-Yay, it's a fine film. I don't bring again. I didn't grow up celebrating Christmas, so I don't have a specific
That's a good point.
thing that I
That's
have to bring to a Christmas movie. Like to me, saying Die Hard is a Christmas movie isn't just because it's set at Christmas. I think there's a lot about a guy trying to reconcile his family and his marriage and all that kind of stuff that you can read into it. But I don't watch Die Hard because it's a Christmas movie. And so I've seen this movie now 3 times in 20 years, and I think that's enough. It's a fine film. I don't need to watch it again. And honestly, I'm more likely to watch The Great Escape every Christmas for some reason.
In a way, I apologize because I forget that you wouldn't have watched all these Christmas films growing up.
I have watched a lot of them, but I didn't watch it. So I didn't decide I'm not going to watch It's a Wonderful Life. But John said, you really should watch this. It's special.
Right behind
And
it, too.
I trusted him and I watched it and it was special. And he trusted me. And I'm sorry he didn't have as good of an experience, but I'm still glad that
I
you watched
actually
it.
don't think he trusted you on this one. I'll be honest.
No,
I don't think so.
No, I
did
had a
watch
pretty
it.
good idea where this movie was going.
Right.
So,
You did watch
but
it.
I had never seen it. So,
All right, let's
I watched
quickly, and I mean quickly, do a round of what you watch. That means one each. That means Sean and Debbie,
You
your
gotta do
square
that.
gets one. So
Yeah,
we're going to start with Sean and Debbie.
We watched Stutz.
Stutz.
Stutz. It is a documentary with
Jonah Hill.
Jonah
and
Hill
the psychiatrist.
and his therapist. He doesn't say he's a psychiatrist, but I love Jonah Hill. I didn't particularly think he was very good of an actor, but this made me love him as a human being like nobody's business. And
Is it a
it's
mockumentary or is it a true documentary?
true documentary?
documentary.
And they really expose a lot of themselves, and that's what it's beautiful the way they share about
I'm
their
glad
lives.
you guys liked it.
I loved
Yeah.
it, and if you can watch,
It was better
anybody-
than Bullet Train.
if anybody could watch it, it's you feel like so much better after watching it. It opens up your heart to this love, and what they both were talking about, this pure love, is like so powerful, you know? And that's what we all, I think for this holiday season, that's what we're all searching for, is that deep penetrating love, you know, that really
eyes wide shut, penetrating
exactly.
love. Yeah, I got you.
All right.
That's all theory, but that's part of it.
Okay,
you know?
Stutz.
Okay.
Where is that? HBO? Where is that?
It's on Netflix. And it's only 90 minutes, so it's not like a
Oh, the whole thing is 90 minutes?
It's like a chain of pearls.
Yes.
Or a pearl necklace.
It's beautiful.
Okay.
It really is.
All right, that's Christmas spirit right there. Chris, what'd you watch?
I actually went to 2 movies this weekend.
Okay,
so
pick one. Pick one.
I got to do both.
Oh, man.
I went to see Strange World with my kids on Friday night. We had a great time.
Nice.
Really enjoyed it. I'll say this, one of the reasons why I think it kind of bombed is A, they didn't put any money behind it. And 2, it is really weird. Like, I mean, it starts off strange and it just keeps getting weirder and weirder. And it has like 3 levels of weird to it, or maybe even 4. But fun. It's, you know, and of course it's going to be on Disney Plus in like 2 weeks, if that. And then I also went to see Empire of Light, the new Sam Mendes film about a movie theater and the people who work there. It is shot by Roger Deakins, who's an Oscar-winning cinematographer, so it's absolutely gorgeous. It takes place on a British coastal city, like a British southern coastal city, in the early 80s. It is gorgeous. Olivia Colman's in it. She plays a woman who has some mental health issues, probably bipolar, I guess. I'm not a therapist.
Go on.
They never mention specifically, but it's really sweet and it's kind and it's really interesting and it feels very realistic. I don't have a lot of experience with that kind of stuff, but great performances all the way through. I was a little surprised. I thought there would be more. Because it's set in a theater, I thought there would be more, the magic of the movies moments. Like, there are a few provided by projectionist Toby Jones, who plays the projectionist.
He's the best.
He's fantastic. It was really solid, though. I do recommend it as well.
Excellent. John.
Okay, I saw Bullet Train.
Okay.
That Sean didn't like. I think if you shut off half your brain, good. I liked it. It was kind of a Japanese anime live action movie with Brad Pitt. Great cast in it. Very fast moving. It was a little confusing at the beginning, but I actually liked it. So if you get a chance, I think it was 2 hours long. But Brad Pitt was very funny, and he does 90% of his stunts, and there's a lot of stunts in the movie. So if you get a chance, check it out.
I was just kind of sick of the sort of Tarantino-esque of
Well, it definitely was Tarantino-esque. That's for sure. But I still liked it.
Yeah.
Was it more Tarantino or more John Wick? Because the John Wick part kind of sells
the fighting was
it directed by the John Wick director? Or
was it
the fighting was definitely John Wick.
Stunt coordinator.
But the way everyone in the cast intertwines, they start off not knowing each other, and they all intertwine. That's the Tarantino thing. But yeah, I liked it.
Okay.
And it was all shot in Los Angeles. The whole thing was shot in Los Angeles, which is the funniest thing about it.
Nice.
Crazy. Drew.
So it wouldn't be an episode of Yippee-Ki-Yay Classic if we didn't talk about dead people. And one of my favorite composers just died, age 85, I think, Angelo Badalamenti. He did all of the music for David Lynch's movies and TV series, the Twin Peaks theme and Blue Velvet and all this stuff. He was really a wonderful composer. He did a really beautiful score for The Straight Story, which was that Richard Farnsworth
he drives the
movie
tractor
that David Lynch did. That's an actual G-rated Disney movie by David Lynch. That's also wonderful, and the score is a big part of that. So if you're not familiar with Angelo Badalamenti's work, first of all, you probably are, and also it's worth checking it out. So I watched a documentary that I hadn't seen for some time. As you know, I like to share movies with people that I think they'll enjoy it. So we watched The King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters, about the battle for the Donkey Kong world record. Yeah. Still a wonderful, wonderful movie, and makes me want to go and look up. And what is that fucking asshole Billy Mitchell up to now?
Didn't they determine that he faked, that he was a fraud?
Well, there was some fakery, but I mean, they've been trading it back and forth, Steve Wiebe and Billy Mitchell and other people, and it's a whole world, and I love that kind of documentary anyway, because where am I going to learn about that? And then look, it's great stuff. But Kelly and I watched the movie. We missed it in the theater because it was only out for about 5 minutes, and then it showed up on Peacock. And I love the guy who wrote it and stars in it. I thought it would be good. It was actually really, really good. We watched Bros, which is Billy Eichner's gay romantic comedy. It's pitched as the first like studio released gay romantic comedy. And it's wonderful. If you like romantic comedies, this is a really, really
and it was a
good
complete
romantic
bomb.
comedy.
Bomb.
Yeah, it didn't find an audience, which is really.
And I like Billy
unfortunate.
Eichner. I like Billy
He's
Eichner, but I
great.
think this
And
made
the
a
guy-
lot of people super uncomfortable.
Well, it has a lot of like if you picture a romantic comedy that has sexually explicit scenes, that's what it is in the movie. Except it's two men or three men or four men, whatever.
I think this was a miss. I don't know how they thought.
It's way sexier than and more almost human real than Eyes Wide Shut, but it's a totally different.
Well,
approach.
I don't know about that. I think they really thought that people would accept this out there in the world, and I think they miscalculated. I think this.
Well,
was
yeah, I mean, America is still a puritanical.
Listen, I am not
country
at
that's
all,
afraid
but
of
I
it.
think I would be uncomfortable with probably. And I haven't seen it. Maybe I'll see it. I don't know, but I don't know if it's.
It's not your fault. I mean, you're old and white, and it makes you uncomfortable.
Okay.
I get it.
It's the holiday season. Let's be nice. All right, so
I'm not
I'll
being
tell you what
nice.
I watched. Although you just
said
did.
gay
I'm not
movies
going
are-
to
you
count
just said
the
it's-
Are you going to
composer,
stick
but
to
you
one
did
movie, Ralph?
You did do two films there.
Are you going to stick to one movie, Ralph?
I'm going
or
to do
can we
one
all
film.
Come back and do another one.
I did a holiday film. You guys are going to laugh, but I watched Spirited on Apple Plus.
Oh, okay. I want to know what you thought about
I
it. I'm hearing
loved it. I loved
Really?
it. Loved it. Loved it. It's a take on A Christmas Carol. You guys know the story. Will Ferrell plays the ghost of Christmas Present. Ryan Reynolds plays the guy he's going to haunt. And it's a musical. It's a full blown musical. And wait for the credits, because the music that Will Ferrell, the song he sings at the end in the credits, is just insanely great. It's just they just went for it. They went for it. There's tap dancers. There's people dancing all different styles. It's a blast.
I talked to some people who absolutely hated it.
I was going in completely cynical, but I wanted to give it a shot, and I'm glad I did. I love Ryan Reynolds, and I love
So
Will
do I.
Ferrell.
I guess I'll have to
Octavia
watch it.
Spencer's
I'm
in there,
shocked.
plays Will Ferrell's love interest. She's fantastic.
I am shocked.
It's
Can we
a
only
blast.
see it on Apple?
It's
Is it
Apple. It's on Apple Plus.
Yeah, it's on Apple. Yeah,
anything else?
Nope, that's it. It's streaming. It was in the movie theater for about a week,
yeah.
and then they started streaming. It might still be in the movie theaters, actually.
We got to go there.
I mean, listen, I'm not a musical guy, so I'm not quite sure if actually it's good music, but it was.
Ralph, did they just walk into a room and start singing?
Some of them
I
did.
mean, that's ridiculous.
Some of them did.
I
Ryan
hate
Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds does this thing at the beginning where he turns people who want fake Christmas trees are the enemy of the country, and because he's trying to sell to people who sell real Christmas trees. And you know, it's Ryan Reynolds doing Ryan Reynolds. There's no question. He's insane. There's some funny.
What's his name?
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
It didn't quite come out that way, Drew. But
What did I say? What did I
You
say?
made him really, really
like
Irish.
Reynolds. It's like
Ryan
R&R.
Reynolds.
It's kind of like that,
Ryan
Ralph.
Reynolds.
You know who I'm talking about? Ryan Reynolds.
I'm never sure. I'm never
Okay,
sure.
Deadpool. It's the guy who plays Deadpool.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds. Sure.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds. Hey,
hey. I think it's fun. It's fun. That's all. John,
I'll
you
have
should
to
check
watch
it out. I think it's
I will.
fun.
I will.
You'll probably hate it, maybe, but just
I love
stick
musicals,
through to the
Ralph.
credits. The credits.
Why don't I just watch the credits and I'll watch the rest
so
of the
great.
movie?
The credits song is all right.
Chevy Chase.
What's that?
He's the new Chevy Chase.
Who? Ryan Reynolds?
No.
Oh my God! Don't say that.
I did. I agree with that totally.
All right. Now let's spin for the next person. This will be interesting.
You know, Debbie had this dream she told me about yesterday. That we were in a hotel in Cape Cod, and Ryan Reynolds.
I'm doing this.
This is our Christmas. This is our Christmas themed show.
Here comes the spin.
Right? I just want to make sure.
You guys keep talking. We'll
Holy
keep talking.
crap! Spin the wheel, baby.
Oh.
Hey,
Hey
boy.
Oh boy. Now you're going to clear the palette. What are you going to do? What are we going to see? I think your film's
Well,
going to be worse.
I've been debating.
Blonde Emmanuel and 3D.
If I got picked, I've been debating. But after watching Eyes Wide Shut, I think I've made my decision. I'm going to go with the original Miracle on 34th Street. Make sure you watch the original.
What's
with
the
Edmund
real? How
Gwenn,
do we know?
Natalie
What's the
Wood.
difference?
it came out before the
There's been
remake.
3 of them made. This is the
It
first
doesn't have
one.
Marlo Tom.
Ralph, it is colorized if you want to watch the color version. I don't care if you watch that one, but I want you to watch the original one.
Can we stream it somewhere?
Yeah. It's on TCM. It's on. You can probably get it on Netflix.
HBO Max.
I suppose.
Yes,
All right.
It's for me. Look, it's a corny movie. I'm telling you up front. But for me, it's one of those movies that when it's over, you get that Christmas feeling. That's why I like Christmas movies.
Oh
So
my
it's
God.
on-
I love
it's
that
on-
film.
especially
on-
when he visits the dead prostitute
Okay.
in the morgue.
It's
Okay.
on, guys. It's on Prime, Disney Plus, Peacock, and AMC. Plenty
Okay,
of places
perfect.
to watch.
What was that, Deb?
I'm having a problem here.
What?
Are we running out of Christmas films by the time this is over? Because it is like 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Can I choose it? And like after Christmas, my name comes up. Can I choose a Christmas?
No.
You can choose
You
whatever
could choose
movie
an
you.
Indian
Debbie,
Christmas film.
Debbie,
You can
if you're-
choose
if
any
you're-
movie you want.
That's right. If your spin comes up and you want to do a Christmas film, just don't do When Harry Met Sally.
I already did that.
Okay. Yeah, when your name comes up, if we're in July and your name comes up and you want to do a Christmas film, all yours.
Like Die Hard 2. Go
What is
for
it?
it.
Lethal Weapon.
Oh, oh my gosh.
Kiss
I'll
Kiss
tell-
Bang Bang.
Oh,
No,
that's a good one. Or
That's
The
a
Nice
Christmas
Guys.
it's the new Scrooge.
Bill Murray
The new
Scrooge.
Scrooge.
Oh my God.
No,
Which one?
it's an animated
Animated
Scrooge on
Scrooge.
Netflix.
Oh, you're not talking about the one, the musical. The one with Luke Evans as Scrooge, the animated one.
It's a new Scrooge. It just came out. It's
Yeah,
He's got a dog.
fantastic.
yeah.
Okay,
I
well-
just saw. I saw it. Ugh.
John, do you want to change your pick and do the new
No,
Scrooge?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
What's the matter with
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I watched it.
I dare say
Oh,
it.
then you're going to hate Spirited.
You know what, John? I have to say, we're no longer married in the.
I
humbug.
tried because I love A Christmas Carol. I love almost any version of it, and I'll tell you, Luke Evans has got a beautiful voice. It's too. They changed too many things in it. That's what I didn't like about it.
John, look at my head bobbling back and
I
forth.
know. I'm just telling you. I watched it. I can't believe you picked that one.
That is
Well,
not
did you
weird
guys
at all.
did you
Debbie.
guys watch the Christmas Carol sketch from the last Saturday Night Live with Steve?
It was
Martin and Martin Short?
fantastic.
It was delightful.
good.
It was a little bloodier than you might expect.
Yeah, it was.
but
Check it out on
delightful.
YouTube.
You know what was even better in that show? The Weekend Update where the couple did he can only have
That's very
sex with
funny.
her when she
She does
does
impressions.
voices.
Oh my
When she
God.
did Scarlett Johansson to Colin
Colin
Jost.
Jost. It was
Hey,
great.
Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you enjoy the holidays.
Happy Holly. But that Steve Martin and what's his
Martin-
name?
was it Martin Short?
Martin Short
Yeah,
doing
Martin
the
Short.
Christmas Carol was great.
I'll have to check it out. I don't watch Saturday Night Live
Yeah,
anymore, so
it
I'll
was
check
good.
that out.
It's on. I'm sure it's on
This
YouTube.
episode is
It
worth
redeemed
watching.
itself.
Oh, good.
Every
All right.
Saturday we watch the show and we say maybe it's going to be good.
Well,
Maybe
as you know, you got Steve Martin and Martin Short on there. It's just you can't.
Is it still only good for half an hour? Then it sucks the rest.
This one was pretty
No,
good
that's not
throughout.
even bad.
This one was
All right.
consistent.
I'll
And the
check it out.
update, you got to watch the update. These two Wisconsin people talk about how they spice up their marriage.
It's funny.
They talk
really-
dirty
it's
to
funny.
each other.
Really good.
Yeah.
I gotta
All right,
watch
guys. All right, have a
All
safe
right.
week.
Excellent show. Thank you.
How long is
Hey.
Miracle on 34th Street? Is that
It's probably 90 minutes.
80?
2
No.
hours and
4
20
hours.
minutes.
No.
Really got to understand. cricket.
2 hours and 20 minutes?
So
That
the
shocks me.
1947 version with Natalie Wood is 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh
I'm
my
shocked.
God, It's
at
like an
that.
Indian
I would
film.
never have guessed that.
Oh my goodness.
You know why? Drew, it just flies
No
by
way, it's
when I
2
watch
hours.
it.
I mean,
That's
it doesn't have to feel like 2 hours and 20
Yeah,
minutes.
no, it definitely doesn't.
I like was it the remake had Richard Attenborough? But
Yes.
I got disappointed because I thought there'd be dinosaurs at the end and there weren't any. So.
It was
All
all right. This one's got more heart.
Have a good week. We'll see you next week.
That's
Bye,
good.
everyone. Hey, bye,
Bye.
everyone. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification button.
Burn those logs.
Do-do-do.